Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to Arizona today, just 3 days after that state's Supreme Court it ruled that an 1864 law criminalizing nearly all abortions can, in fact, be enforced.
Is Kari Lake going to be at the Kamala Harris event? Because I know she says she's always been against this abortion law.
Well, Republican Senate candidate Kari Lake, in her trademark soft focus lighting, has contacted state lawmakers in an effort to repeal the abortion ban. That's according to a Republican legislator who told NBC News that they received a call from Lake earlier this week. On Wednesday, the GOP-controlled House shut down discussion on a proposal to overturn the law. Lawmakers will now not meet again until next Wednesday. Now, Joe, in the wake of the ruling, Lake has decidedly flip-flopped on the issue and is now trying to project a more moderate stance.
Is that like Trump flip-flopping on abortion and Obamacare?
Yeah, we have a lengthy list of Trump flip-flops just in the last week alone.
Yeah.
Here's what Kari Lake was saying 2 years ago when she was running for governor, followed by a video that she posted yesterday on social media.
I don't believe in abortion. I think the older law is going to go into effect. That's what I believe will happen. I don't think abortion pills should be legal.
We have a great law on the books right now. If that happens, we will be a state where we will not be taking the lives of our unborn anymore. I'm incredibly thrilled that we are going to have a great law that's already on the books. So it will prohibit abortion in Arizona, and I think we're going to be paving the way and setting course for other states to follow.
This total ban on abortion that the Arizona Supreme Court just ruled on is out of line with where the people of this state are. The issue is less about banning abortion and more about saving babies. I agree with President Trump. This is such a personal and private issue. I chose life, but I'm not every woman. I want to make sure that every woman who finds herself pregnant has more choices so that she can make that choice that I made.
Donnie, I don't know what you would do if you were running the ad campaign against, either Kari Lake or Donald Trump. I know.
Use their words.
There's nothing I would love more if I were a Democrat to run against these people. Nothing. It would be so fun.
Yeah.
I love when people start flip-flopping. You go, excuse me, wait, hold on. You say, hold on a second. I got it written down somewhere. And then you read it. And now you're saying, what?
Yeah.
And then but wait, hold on a second. Hold on. And then you read the 3 or 4 quotes. I mean, come on.
Here's the one.
Shooting catfish in a barrel, as we used to say in the redneck Riviera. Not that anybody would do that.
Something that you learn early in advertising is that voters, in the case of advertising, consumers are not stupid. They're not stupid. Yeah. They can put these pieces together. And one thing voters hate, they hate flip-floppers. So people, on the one hand, know that they really are on the wrong side of the issue. They know where they stand. On the other hand, they're also losing them because, like, who are you? Forget even I disagree with you on that issue. You have no soul. You have no ideology. And she's following the steps of Trump. And, Joe, you've said this on the show many times. The best ads, so you just use their words. Use their words.
Best ads. And Maura, this week, abortion. Trump's flipping and flopping on abortion. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, he suddenly has seen the light after saying he was going to terminate it. And one time got carried away and said he was going to terminate health care.
Right.
But yeah, this should be pretty easy target.
Well, the problem that folks like Kari Lake and obviously Donald Trump are going to have on an issue like abortion is, I'm sorry, but if you are a woman in America who believes in a woman's right to choose, if you are at all motivated as an American voter, with any background on this issue, you're not going to go and pause and listen to the flip-flopping and say, oh, maybe actually he supports a woman's right to choose. This is the president that got Roe v. Wade overturned.
Proud of it.
The issue is lost. It's gone. I mean, Democratic voters and independents who care about these issues, they're not going to suddenly change their mind and say that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are going to be great proponents of women's rights. I mean, that's a joke. So at this point, that's lost.
You guys touched on this earlier in the show.
Insulting.
Donald Trump did it. Those words, you guys hit it. I mean, it's just, those are magical words. Donald Trump did it.
But every child in America knows that. I mean, people who aren't even of voting age know that. This is on his tombstone. So I just think it's insulting to think that they're going to convince voters or grow their coalition. I mean, that's, like, let them try.
We've run 2 focus groups on this show over the past couple years that really spoke to how this issue also cuts for Republicans. And one was a couple of years ago, Elise Jordan. I was talking about it, but the Trumpiest guy ever, who had believed in all the conspiracy theories. She's going down the line, and then Elise asks about abortion, and he said, "Wait, why should I have no right to talk about what a woman does with her body." And then just one we showed this past week of swing voters, where a guy who was really conservative, libertarian, said, "Well, wait, I don't trust the government to do anything effectively. Now they're taking control of our bodies. And sure, it's a woman's body today. It'll be my body tomorrow." I mean, it's not just Democrats and independents. A lot of Republicans and people who've long identified themselves as pro-life who said, "Wait a second, I'm ready to get off the train."
You know, regular Morning Joe viewers will know that I don't often quote the group Focus on the Family, but I was looking at a couple of research reports.
I've long confused you for James Dobson.
Yeah,
exactly.
Go ahead. 2 research reports, one from Focus on the Family, one from a similar evangelical institute. Focus on the Family found that 4 in 10 women who have had an abortion were churchgoers when they ended a pregnancy. They write, "Many women with unexpected pregnancies go silently from the church pew to the abortion clinic, convinced the church would gossip rather than help." Right? Women in their own churches finding more support in abortion clinics than in their own churches. Another institute found 54% of people get abortions, including 13% are evangelical Protestants. So by making this issue the referendum in the way they have, I don't think they know who's in their own movement.
Well, and people that watch the show know that it is a continued pet peeve of mine when people claim that abortion is the singular testing ground for what kind of Christian you are, when, as I've said, that evangelicals were pro-choice. And pro-choice from the time of Jesus' birth, not just through the breakup of the Beatles, but through the breakup of the Eagles. Like through 1980.
It's a long run.
I'm
not a mathematician.
By the way, speaking of the Eagles, The Long Run. It's the album that came out then.
Wow.
And well done.
Unintentional.
You had no idea. You had no idea. But think about this. It's crazy. And I talk to my friends who have no idea what I'm talking about. I say, you do understand that, like, our parents were in a Southern Baptist church that was pro-choice. They passed resolutions at, like, the Southern Baptist Convention that were pro-choice resolutions. And then Richard Viguerie and Jerry Falwell and who was Paul Weyrich. We got together and said, you know, if we're going to beat this Southern Baptist Democrat, we're going to have to come up with an issue that will pry evangelicals away and will also pry conservative Catholics away. So they came up with abortion. And then they added the religious element to it and suddenly said, this is like a great sin against God. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people of faith who are pro-life for a lot of, you know, it's like the death penalty. Read the Bible and let the Bible inform you on war, on the death penalty, on abortion. That's totally legitimate. But please don't tell me that after The Long Run was released, suddenly the Southern Baptist Church figured out that what Jesus was really trying to say 2,000 years earlier.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.